I steal from people all the time. I'm as bad as Claudia.
What? Excuse me, what? I steal from people all the time. I'm as bad as Claudine Gay, is what he's about to say. Oops, James. Oops, sometimes doing an extemporaneous speech where you don't script it beforehand leads you to saying the quiet part out loud. What was that? What was that? What, James?
Podcast is getting downloaded 10 million times because I thought it was profound. So you don't know where your message is going to get and where it's not going to get. I steal from people all the time. 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 I'm as bad as Claudine Gay.
We are here because socialists speak in a coded language. And the best way to learn that language and become inoculated to that language is by listening to what they say in the real world. You have to keep in mind that they are using the same vocabulary as us. They are not using the same dictionary. They have different definitions for the words. And if you don't understand what those definitions are, you fundamentally do not understand them. But as long as you're going to be here, you're going to follow my rules, okay? Number one, the reason that we do Socialism Saturday is that socialists speak in a coded language. They may use the same vocabulary as us. They do not use the same dictionary as us, okay? Socialists speak in code. They may use the same vocabulary as us. They do not use the same dictionary as us. First thing you need to know, socialists speak in code. The reason that we watch this content is because we want to understand what their language means. Socialists use the same vocabulary as us. They do not use the same dictionary as us. So it is very important that we listen to the context of what they're saying to be able to ascertain what they mean. The reason that we do Socialism Saturday is because socialists speak in a coded language, okay? They may use the same vocabulary as us. They do not use the same dictionary.
Communists, this is a rule everybody needs to have in their head. I want you to really pay attention to this. Keep it in the back of your head. It's going to be very familiar, but it's a little like,
oh God, everyone needs to brace themselves for what he's about to say.
Cooked, so you got to think through the words a little bit. Communists share your vocabulary, but they do not share your dictionary.
Have we heard that before? Have we heard that before? Have you guys heard that before? Have you guys heard that on literally every episode of Socialism Saturday for like a year? Has everyone heard that before? Has everyone heard that before? Communists share your vocabulary, but they don't share your dictionary. Where have we heard that before? Where have we heard that before? Where have we heard that before? You want to tell me James isn't watching my stuff? Because it seems to me that everyone in my audience has heard that before. And James, I haven't listened to your content in years. So where'd you get that, James? Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that line, James? Because I've been saying that literally as an introduction for Socialism Saturday for a really long ass time. Where did you get that line, James? You gave this speech 2 weeks ago. Where'd you hear that, James? Who do you know, James? Who do you know that is like the person that's been decoding socialist language so that you actually understand it for fucking years now. Where'd you get that line, James? Where'd you get that line? Communists share your vocabulary, but they don't share your dictionary. James Lindsay, I like to steal things. I steal as much as Claudine Gay. Everyone in my audience knows where that line comes from, James. Verbatim. Not unadded. This is exactly the same thing as he did with the colleges of education stuff. He stole that verbatim too. He's saying verbatim what I've been saying since 2022. Everyone in my audience knows where you got that line, James. Every single person knows where you got that line. Every single person here knows where you got it. A wise man once said, I steal all the time. Oh, James Lindsay said that less than 5 minutes ago in this very speech. And isn't it a coincidence that James is telling his audience not to listen to me? James is telling his audience not to watch me. James is only discrediting me. James will never debate me because he knows I would kick his ass up and down the fucking debate floor if he ever fucking tried. Isn't it a coincidence that for weeks now, James has been encouraging people to ignore everything I say and everything I do? And no, don't look at that video evidence. Don't do that. Because that bitch is crazy. Where have we heard that line before? I say that verbatim every single fucking week and have for years. Even your fans that watch me, James, know where that line comes from. It's clear to all of us, bro. Let's just listen again.
Share your vocabulary, but they do not share your dictionary. In other words, they use the same words that you do, but they don't mean the same thing by those words. Of every pastor downstream. And what happens then? Well, imagine this. Here's how it works in education. If you get a hold of the college, you get a hold of the College of Education. If you get a hold of the College of Education, you get a hold of the teachers. If you get a hold of the teachers.
Who does that sound like to you? Who does that sound like? Who does that sound like? What James is explaining right now. I have literally been explaining this like that for over 2 years. In those explicit words, I'm saying James is using my fucking words. I have literally used those explicit words.
In education, if you get a hold of the college.
Actually, hang on. Let me show you this. Let me show you me using those explicit words. We're not going to watch a video or anything. I'm going to show you on my Substack. School choice. Not that one. This one. Why school choice will not fix the public schools. I created a whole fucking infographic that illustrated that you take over the colleges, you get the colleges of education. You get the colleges of education, you get the teachers. You get the teachers, you get the fucking schools. There are videos of me on this channel from 2 fucking years ago where I'm explicitly explaining this in, exactly the same words that James is using. Exactly the same words. He stole my fucking script. Oh my God. Go fuck yourself, James. Totally and sincerely. Fuck yourself.
College, you get a hold of the College of Education. If you get a hold of the College of Education, you get a hold of the teachers. If you get a hold of the teachers, then you get a hold of the students. And what do you have if you have hold of the students? The future. We're not supposed to point out that Adolf Hitler,
Seriously.
who the Sem and perverse church, we've seen as
Stuff. I wasn't listening to him at that time. When James started teaching that,
as Jesus commanded, somehow.
I want everyone to keep in mind that when I started teaching that school choice stuff, which was back in 2022, I wasn't listening to James at that time. I have no idea when James started using that, when James stole my fucking talking points, but I wasn't listening to him at that time, which is probably why I'm just finding out about this now.
Means wearing a mask and not talking to your neighbor at all and reporting your neighbor to the authorities for going to the store
In fact,
without, proper social distancing or whatever, or failing to get a vaccine. We know that we had church doctrines perverted. We know that we're supposed to embrace the intolerable, the mutilation of children, for example, in the name of, luckily, a theologian. You have to. Woke is, we have a good dualism. Horkheimer, the founder that the left had of disciples, are out.
We're going to go back to James's
document I saw the other day for the first time, talking about.
We're going to go back to James's absurd claim that woke is not interested in capitalism in just 1 second. Hang on. If you go to the podcast page on the Substack, episode 6 of the Actively Unwoke podcast, which was published on June 3rd, 2022, why the public schools cannot be saved. Can we just listen to this for 2 seconds? I just want to make sure. Hang on. I'm sorry. I don't remember what I said in this, but I'm pretty sure James just stole my words from this. Well, hello. Colds are still a thing. What happened last weekend in Reno, this is less than half an hour ago at the time of this recording anyway. Ron DeSantis, organizations that are built to mold people into good little obedient servants of the state, but that's actually not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is much more practical. It's the staffing pool. It's the teaching pool. It's the pool of people that are actually being hired to go into the classroom and to run the organizations. The problem is that the people that are inside that pool are completely, totally, unequivocally indoctrinated into the woke ideology. If you look at political donation records, this seems like splitting hairs, Steve. Really? Steve, do you like working for free? Do you like working and creating content 2 years ago that is then stolen by other people without credit, and they never acknowledge you? And not only do they not acknowledge you, they shit talk you in public. They tell people to block you. They tell people not to listen to you. They tell people to block your audience. But the reason they're telling people to block you and they're shit talking you and elevating things that aren't even true, the reason they're doing that is they're stealing your talking points from 2 fucking years ago. Do you think that's splitting hairs? I don't think that's splitting hairs. But Steve, if you really think this is splitting hairs, you're welcome to come work for me for free anytime, bro. I will take your time. I will take your ideas. I will take your labor, and I will take credit for all of it. And you will get no credit, because getting credit for the work you do and getting paid for the work you do and not having people. And in addition, Steve, I'll shit talk you publicly, because that'll just put the cherry on top, because you should want to put up with that, right? Because otherwise you're just splitting hairs. This is why conservatives lose right here. You'll see that teachers, public school teachers, people working for the teachers unions, things like that, over 95% of them donate exclusively to the Democratic Party. Now, when you have an entire profession of people who are indoctrinated into one political ideology, so much so that they're actually giving that political ideology money, then that is not something that is a fixable problem. Let me try to make this extremely tangible, because I know I know that many of you listening to this, you have kids in the public schools, or you have kids that will someday go to the public schools, or maybe you just always thought, never questioned that as an option. I used to be one of you. I really did. I was one of those people who said, we need to invest in the public schools to make sure the teachers have what they need. What I didn't understand at that time is that the teachers are the problem. I absolutely can, you asshole, and you don't deserve help. I'm sorry. Get the fuck out of here. Go away. You are not smart enough to be here. God damn it. This is conservatives. You shouldn't care about getting credit for your work. You should do everything for free for us. Please do everything for free. You're lucky to be able to work for us for free, and you're extra lucky if we steal your work and we don't give you credit for it. That's just like, you should be striving just to work for us for free for the rest of your life and never get credit for your ideas or what you do. That's really what you should be doing. God damn. Teachers are the ones who are teaching your children as young as 4 years old this far left progressive ideology, and they are teaching it to them at an early enough age where it is almost the same thing with anything else you teach in the public school system in the United States. Went to a college of education. Hang on. And I think 95 is low, but let's just in system, because they knew that was their pipeline to creating their little Marxist utopia in society. Oh my God. Listen to this. Listen to this. Everyone pay attention. And that's why the woke left have done such a good job at getting their hooks into the public education system, because they knew that was their pipeline to creating their little Marxist utopia in society. So let me try to make this really tangible for you. Over 95%, and I think 95 is low, but let's just leave a little bit of wiggle room for doubt. Over 95% of the teachers that are currently teaching in the public school system in the United States went to a college of education, the place where they learned how to be a teacher. They went to a college of education in which they were educated directly into the far left woke ideology as a part of their curriculum in the college of education. And not only were they taught that, but the people training them, the people teaching them, the professors in those colleges of education were also they themselves indoctrinated into that woke ideology. And so the problem with the public schools becomes, we do not have unwoke teachers in order to staff them. We can pass all the anti-critical race theory bills that we want, and I encourage that. I think it's a good idea. It slows them down. We can pass all the curriculum transparency bills that we want to make sure that parents have access. I literally just said, and I was saying this over and over and over again. I'm sure you can find videos on my channel where I'm saying this. How they got the public schools is they took over the colleges of education. They took over the colleges, which gave them the colleges of education, which gave them the teacher staffing pool. You know, this makes sense because you know what? There was about a year and a half ago, something like that. Phil Labonte on Timcast said this. He used my talking points, and someone told me about it at the time. They said, Carlin, Phil just used your talking points on Timcast. And I DM'd Phil and I said, hey, thanks for using my talking points because I'm the only one I know talking about this. And he said, oh no, that wasn't you. I got that from James Lindsay. And I kind of went, what the fuck? Because I know I was talking about this before James Lindsay was, because I started talking about this back in like early 2022. And I know James wasn't talking about it then. And then fast forward. God fucking damn these people. I'm sure there are videos on my channel that back this up. Then fast forward and we have James here.
That works in education. If you get a hold of the college, you get a hold of the College of Education. If you get a hold of the College of Education, you get a hold of the teachers. If you get a hold of the teachers, then you get a hold of the students. And what do you have?
I've got a conservative asshole over on Rumble. Stop caring about first. Just care about what's right. Okay, I'll care about what's right. You are permanently banned from my channel. Because if you don't want me to get credit for the work I do, then you want me to work for free. And I am unwilling. It is fucking mind-boggling. Every goddamn time this happens, every fucking time that conservatives steal my work, they steal my journalism that I stay up to all hours of the night to do. And I've been doing this for years. I work 12 to 16 goddamn hours a day on this shit for fucking years by myself. And then conservative fucking assholes steal it and they claim it's theirs and they parade it all around. And I'm supposed to be fucking grateful. Never, ever, 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 ever believe conservatives ever again when they say pull yourself up by your bootstraps, because they don't pull themselves up by their bootstraps. They steal from people who are smarter than them and better than them and more hinged into what's going on than them and farther ahead than them, and then they claim it's theirs. And then when the people that they steal from get upset about that, then they go, you shouldn't be upset. You should just be about the ideas. Unless you're donating money to me, I don't want to fucking hear it. On your screen. Oh, it does look bigger. Yay. Okay. Here is why school choice will not fix the problem. Because at the top of the funnel, we have the boards of education and the colleges of education. There are two institutions that control how teachers are produced. These institutions, the colleges and the boards of education. And the reason I put the boards, so the colleges obviously train the teachers, but the boards of education are the ones that dictate the state licensure requirements. And so the boards of education are going to be able to dictate things like, you must do this anti-racist training in order to become a licensed teacher in, say, the state of Illinois. So they're dictating who can actually become teachers, because almost every school now is requiring not just a bachelor's degree, but a master's degree in order to be a teacher, which is messed up in and of itself. But these are the two institutions that are controlling how teachers are made before they ever hit the schools. In order to become a licensed teacher, the state boards of education require that teachers attend an accredited university. An accredited university means they get to dictate the curriculum. In order to be an accredited university, that means you have to comply with whatever the accrediting body tells you to comply with. Now, let me give you an example that's separate from the schools about where this becomes a problem. The American Medical Association, the association that is in charge of medicine, doctors. The American Medical Association is now mandating that as a part of medical education at accredited medical schools, that wannabe doctors in training have to undergo anti-racist coursework. They are also mandating that faculty who teach at medical school are required to speak anti-racist. That's coming from the American Medical Association. And because the American Medical Association says you have to train doctors to our standards in order for your students to ever get a job in any hospital ever, the colleges of medicine and the licensing boards have to comply with what the American Medical Association wants. This is how medicine is going to go woke. It's because of the accrediting bodies. The same is true with the American Psychological Association. The same is true with the American Psychiatric Association. These associations dictate how new psychologists and psychiatrists are trained in college. These organizations go woke. That's going to require that colleges and universities also go woke in order to accommodate what these standards are telling them to accommodate. Now, in truth, the colleges and universities already went woke, and that was how it infiltrated the professional organizations. But then it becomes a self-reinforcing prophecy, right? If the professional organization that is in charge of blessing these schools with accreditation, or you have to meet their licensure standards in order to practice in that particular field. If they say you do something, then you have to do it. Otherwise, there's no reason for any student to go to that program because they're going to graduate with a degree that will literally be useless to them. They're not going to be able to get licensed by their professional body. It's another reason why, by the way, we need to do away with professional licensure standards. They're bullshit. I'm sorry. They're absolute bullshit. They're only meant to allow the state to have control over all of this. That's another story. So these are where the teachers are coming from. These are the people dictating the standards. Now, you have students that are coming out of high school, and again, like we have watched high school students. We might watch high school students tomorrow on my second channel for happy hour. We've watched high school students already showing up as social justice warriors because their teachers from the time they're young have trained them to be social justice warriors. But that is not the fault of the students, okay? It's not their fault. So you have this group of young kids, and we're talking about 18 years old. So that means the logic reason function of their brain is not developed, because the logic reason function of our brain does not develop until we are in our early to mid 20s. So before the logic function of their brain develops, they say, I love school. I want to be a teacher. Great. You go to a college of education to learn how to become a teacher. And they go in as relatively naive, though probably already partially indoctrinated, like education students. And in going through the College of Education, which, by the way, colleges of education are not only mandating that you do like separate anti-racism coursework, like you're going to take a whole fucking class in anti-racism. They're also going to integrate the woke ideology into every single education course that these students are required to take, and probably their non-education related, like their non-education specific courses as well. If they're taking a liberal arts curriculum at college, like forget about it. They're taking a sociology class, forget about it. It's everywhere in colleges. So you're having these young students who don't have the logic reason part of their brain go to these colleges, and they may be innocent enough when they go in, but by the time they graduate, they're activists. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them. Okay? Now, those activists, they're your teaching pool. They're your teaching pool. And we know that well over 90% of educators are donating money to the Democratic Party, or at least at the bare minimum, supporting the Democratic Party. And so, for every one great teacher, who makes it through college and hasn't been indoctrinated into this ideology that they have been bombarded with every day of their college experience for 4 years and up to 6 or 7 years if they did their master's degree. They've been bombarded with this ideology every single day, and they made it out alive. You get one of those for every 9 that don't make it through without getting indoctrinated into this ideology. 90% of the teachers that are coming out of these schools are gone. It's their religion. This is not just a political philosophy. They don't even know it's a political. In fact, it's even worse than that. This is not even something that they are aware of, because remember, the kids that are coming out, and I will call them kids because I'm old. The kids that are coming out of these colleges of education now have been learning this stuff since elementary school. They don't know anything different. Don't know, and they have never been taught anything different. Really think about that for a second. If you only know one way of doing something your entire life, and it has been taught to you in elementary school, it's been taught to you in middle school, it's been taught to you in high school, and then you go to college and you learn it in college, you are not going to think that there is any other way. Those are the teachers that are coming into this teaching pool. Those angry activist girls with the pink hair, those are the ones that schools have to choose to hire from. And that teacher pool, that pool of people who meet the state licensure standards, those are the teachers that are going to be applying for the jobs at the public schools, the private schools, and the charter schools. And no, technically private schools, I don't believe, have to meet, like, they don't have to hire teachers based on state licensure because they're private schools. But it doesn't really matter because that's where the credentialed teachers are going to come from. That's what's going to look best on the resume. The most private schools and most charter schools, for that matter, are not going to hire the guy off the street. They're going to hire the person with the master's degree because that's what the parents want. Because the parents think that college is about learning and growth and learning to think when it's not anymore. Maybe it was a long time ago. I don't even know anymore. But it's not anymore. So you have this pool in which 90% of the teachers are completely corrupted, bought into this ideology, probably will never be fixed, and you have 10% who are okay. And that is this teacher staffing pool that's going into every single school. And so, just because you can choose to go from one public school to another public school down the street, or a charter school 3 towns away, or that private school that you were really hoping you'd be able to have enough money to go to, just because you can change schools does not mean that you change the teacher staffing pool. Because schools are only hiring the teachers who they get job applications from. And if you're not getting job applications, you can't hire them. If you're not getting job applications from unwoke teachers, you can't hire them. This is just really practical. And so even if tomorrow we were able to get every single one of these indoctrinated activists out of public schools, and this is the part that really keeps me up at night, even if we are able to get rid of every single woke teacher in the world, we do not have a teaching pool that is large enough to fill those roles, because all of a sudden you get rid of, so there's 30 teachers in this image that I have, right? 27 of them out of the 30 are woke. 3 of them are not woke. 3 teachers cannot replace the workload of 27. It's not possible. So school choice is not going to fix the problem. It's not going to fix the problem because this is a generational problem that has been created based on the fact that the woke left took over the colleges of education years ago, decades ago, and then slowly but surely filled all the professor positions in these colleges of education. And then those professors started turning out woke teacher after woke teacher after woke teacher. And as they started turning out woke teachers, eventually the woke teachers they were turning out became professors themselves. We have 2 generations of teachers that need to be replaced. Minimally. 2 generations of teachers that need to be replaced before we even have any hope of solving this problem. And I think that it would be lucky. It would be lucky. So, school choice is nice. I'm not